Hello, my friends. So the world's ending, or at least that's what it feels like with all the melting glaciers, wildfires, and extreme weather events we keep seeing on the news, or at least that's what they keep telling us. Every day, news anchors, newspapers, and activists are shouting about the climate crisis, urging us to take action before it's too late. But hey, at least some people are making a killing out of it, literally. While the planet suffers, industries like oil refineries, coal plants, and deforestation operations continue to thrive, making billions. We're talking about the companies cashing in on the whole saving the planet thing. Renewable energy companies are booming, installing solar panels, wind turbines, and electric vehicle charging stations everywhere. Think Tesla, with their fancy electric cars for the eco-conscious elite. These sleek, high-tech vehicles are marketed as the ultimate solution for those who want to save the planet while driving in style. Then there's big oil, still raking it in while the planet slowly melts. Despite the push for renewable energy, oil rigs, offshore drilling, and gas stations remain highly profitable. They're like that friend who keeps saying they'll quit smoking tomorrow while lighting up another cigarette. It's a real head-scratcher. They promise to go green, but their actions tell a different story. Are we saving the world or just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic? With icebergs melting and sea levels rising, it sometimes feels like we're just delaying the inevitable. The truth is, it's a bit of both. While some efforts are genuine, others are more about profit than planet. Environmental protests and climate marches show the public's demand for change, but eco-friendly products in stores often come with a hefty price tag. Climate change is a giant mess, but it's also a giant business opportunity. The stock market is buzzing with green tech investments, and business meetings about renewable energy are more frequent than ever. And like any good capitalist will tell you, where there's chaos, there's profit to be made. Entrepreneurs and investors are eager to capitalize on the chaos, pitching startups and discussing investments in the latest green technologies. Buckle up, folks, because this ride is just getting started. The journey to save the planet is like a roller coaster, full of ups and downs, twists and turns. It's a fast-paced, high-stakes adventure that will keep us all on the edge of our seats. As we move forward, innovation will be key. Scientists and engineers are working tirelessly in renewable energy labs, developing cutting-edge green technologies that could revolutionize the way we live. But it's not just about big corporations and high-tech solutions. Grassroots movements and community initiatives are equally important. Urban farming, community gardens, and tree planting projects are making a difference at the local level. Education and awareness are crucial too. Teaching the next generation about sustainability through school projects and family initiatives can create lasting change. Kids learning about recycling and families installing solar panels are small steps that add up. On the global stage, international cooperation is essential. Climate summits and international agreements bring world leaders together to tackle the crisis collectively. These efforts, though often slow and complex, are vital for meaningful progress. Ultimately, saving the world requires a collective effort. It's about individuals, communities, businesses, and governments working together, brainstorming solutions, and collaborating on projects that can make a real impact. The goal is a future where our planet thrives. Imagine a world with beautiful natural landscapes, thriving wildlife, and clean rivers. It's a vision worth striving for, and with determination and cooperation, it's within our reach. So let's keep pushing forward, celebrate the successes, learn from the failures, and stay committed to the cause. Together we can turn the tide and create a sustainable future for generations to come.
Elon Musk, the man who wants to send us to Mars, also wants to save us from ourselves. Or at least that's the idea behind Tesla. Electric cars, solar panels, giant batteries to store all that clean energy. It's enough to make you want to hug a tree, preferably one that's not on fire. But let's be real, Tesla isn't just about saving the planet, it's about making bank. And they're doing a pretty good job of it. Their cars are sleek, sexy, and oh yeah, they don't run on dinosaur juice. It's a win-win, right? Well, except for the whole mining rare earth minerals thing. But hey, nobody's perfect.
Remember that company that used to dig up fossil fuels? No, not those guys. We're talking about Ørsted, the Danish company that did a complete 180 and went all in on renewable energy. Talk about a corporate makeover. They went from being part of the problem to, well, trying to be part of the solution. Now they're building wind farms faster than you can say Don Quixote, and they're making a pretty penny doing it. Turns out, you can be both environmentally conscious and financially successful. Who knew?
Ah, big oil, those lovable scamps who brought us climate change in the first place. You gotta hand it to them, they're persistent. While the rest of the world is trying to kick the fossil fuel habit, these guys are like the pushy drug dealer on the corner whispering just one more barrel. They're spending millions on lobbying efforts and greenwashing campaigns, trying to convince us that coal is the new kale. It's almost admirable in a tragically ironic kind of way, almost.
Section 5, Sweden and Norway, the Green Vikings are coming. Move over, Silicon Valley, there's a new sheriff in town. Actually, 2 sheriffs. And they're not from the Wild West, but from the land of fjords, meatballs, and surprisingly, good pop music. We're talking about Sweden and Norway, the Scandinavian superstars of the Green Revolution. These guys are so far ahead of the game, they're practically playing a different sport. Electric cars, check. Renewable energy, check. Carbon-neutral cities, check and mate. They're like the annoyingly perfect couple at the dinner party who make everyone else feel bad about their life choices.
Section 6, Bangladesh, when climate change hits home, hard. While some countries are busy patting themselves on the back for their green initiatives, celebrating their small victories in reducing carbon footprints and promoting renewable energy, others are dealing with the very real and immediate consequences of climate change. Take Bangladesh, for example. This country, with its low-lying geography and dense population, is particularly vulnerable. This low-lying nation is on the front lines of the climate crisis, facing rising sea levels, devastating floods, and increasingly powerful cyclones. These natural disasters are not just occasional events, they are becoming more frequent and more severe, disrupting lives and livelihoods. It's a stark reminder that climate change isn't some abstract threat, it's a present danger for millions of people around the world. For the people of Bangladesh, climate change is not a distant future scenario, but a daily reality. The global climate crisis is creating environmental refugees, people who are forced to leave their homes due to natural disasters. These individuals often have nowhere to go and no means to rebuild their lives. And it's often the poorest and most vulnerable who are hit the hardest. These communities lack the resources to adapt to the changing climate, making them even more susceptible to its impacts. So yeah, maybe we should stop arguing about whether climate change is real and start doing something about it. The time for debate is over. The time for action is now. We need to invest in sustainable solutions, support vulnerable communities, and take meaningful steps to reduce our carbon footprint. Only then can we hope to mitigate the worst effects of climate change and protect our planet for future generations. International cooperation is crucial in this fight. World leaders must come together to create and enforce policies that address the root causes of climate change. Collaborative efforts can lead to innovative solutions and shared resources, making it possible to tackle this global issue more effectively. Education and awareness are also key. By educating the younger generation about the importance of sustainability and the impact of climate change, we can foster a culture of environmental responsibility. Community workshops and educational programs can empower individuals to make informed decisions and take action in their own lives. Renewable energy projects, such as solar panels and wind turbines, are essential in reducing our reliance on fossil fuels. These initiatives not only help to decrease greenhouse gas emissions, but also create jobs and stimulate economic growth in local communities. Reforestation and conservation efforts are equally important. Planting trees and restoring natural habitats can help to absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, providing a natural solution to combat climate change. These projects also support biodiversity and protect ecosystems that are vital to our planet's health. Innovation and technology play a significant role in addressing climate change. Scientists and researchers are constantly developing new methods and technologies to reduce emissions and improve sustainability. By investing in these advancements, we can accelerate our progress towards a more sustainable future. Building community resilience is another critical aspect. Local initiatives that focus on preparing for and mitigating the impacts of climate change can make a significant difference. By strengthening infrastructure and creating emergency response plans, communities can better withstand the challenges posed by a changing climate. Ultimately, the fight against climate change requires global solidarity. It is a collective responsibility that transcends borders and cultures. By working together, we can create a sustainable future for all, ensuring that the most vulnerable among us are protected and that our planet remains habitable for generations to come.
Section 7. Joe and Greta, the politician and the prophet. Joe Biden, the leader of the free world, wants to tackle climate change. Greta Thunberg, the teenager who became a global icon, wants to shame us into action. It's the ultimate odd couple, the seasoned politician and the passionate activist. Biden's got the power, but can he get anything done in a political system that seems designed to prevent progress? Greta's got the moral high ground, but can she translate her fiery speeches into concrete action? Only time will tell if this unlikely duo can save the planet.
Section 8, COP28. Can we talk money now? Every year, world leaders gather for the COP meetings, a kind of climate change summit where they discuss, debate, and, well, mostly just talk. These meetings are supposed to be the cornerstone of global climate action where the most pressing environmental issues are addressed and solutions are proposed. But often it feels like a lot of hot air with little concrete action. It's like a giant therapy session for the planet, except nobody wants to pay for the therapist. Everyone agrees that the planet needs help, but when it comes to footing the bill, the room goes silent. The promises made are grand, but the follow-through is often lacking. The big question at COP28 is always the same: who's going to pay for all this green stuff? Renewable energy projects, reforestation, and sustainable agriculture all require significant investment. The transition to a greener economy isn't cheap, and someone has to cover the costs. Developed nations are hesitant to cough up the cash despite their historical responsibility for much of the carbon emissions. They argue about economic constraints and political challenges, often kicking the can down the road. Developing countries are demanding more help, pointing out that they are the most vulnerable to climate change impacts despite contributing the least to the problem. They need financial support to adapt to changing climates and to develop sustainably. And big oil is just sitting in the corner, counting their money and laughing. The fossil fuel industry continues to profit massively while the world grapples with the consequences of climate change. Their influence in these discussions is a contentious issue. It's enough to make you wish Greta Thunberg would just show up and yell at everyone. Her passionate speeches have a way of cutting through the noise and reminding everyone of the urgency of the situation. But even Greta's powerful words need to be backed by action. The reality is, without significant financial commitments, the goals set at these summits will remain out of reach. Agreements need to be translated into tangible projects and initiatives. The world can't afford to wait any longer. It's time for all nations to step up, put their money where their mouth is, and invest in a sustainable future. The next generation is counting on it. The planet is counting on it, and history will judge us by the actions we take today. So, as we look to COP28, the question remains, can we talk money now? And more importantly, can we turn that talk into action? The stakes have never been higher, and the world is watching.
So what's the verdict? Is the planet doomed? Are we all going to be living in Mad Max-style wasteland, fighting over scraps of food and water? Well, maybe not. But the future of climate change is looking like a bit of a comedy of errors. We've got politicians making promises they can't keep, corporations greenwashing their way to the bank, and a whole lot of people just going about their lives, hoping for the best. It's enough to make you want to laugh, cry, or maybe just pour yourself a stiff drink.
Everywhere you look, companies are trying to outgreen each other. Eco-friendly, sustainable, carbon neutral. These words are thrown around so much they're starting to lose all meaning. It's enough to make you wonder, are we witnessing a genuine green revolution or just a massive greenwashing campaign? The truth, as always, is somewhere in between. There are companies out there genuinely trying to make a difference. And then, there are those just trying to make a buck. It's up to us, the consumers, to be discerning and demand real action, not just empty slogans.
Here's a fun fact. Doing nothing about climate change is going to cost us a lot more than actually doing something about it. We're talking trillions of dollars in damages from extreme weather events, rising sea levels, and lost productivity. And that's not even factoring in the human cost. So, yeah, investing in renewable energy, reducing our carbon footprint, and maybe, just maybe, listening to Greta Thunberg might actually save us some money in the long run. Who knew saving the planet could be so fiscally responsible?
In the end, all our efforts to combat climate change might be just a blip on the radar of geological time. The Earth has been through a lot worse than us, and it will probably survive long after we're gone. So, Who are we kidding? But hey, that's no excuse to give up. We might not be able to save the planet, but we can at least try to leave it in a slightly less messed up state for future generations. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, we'll surprise ourselves and actually pull it off. Now, wouldn't that be something?